Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my special report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Response systems improving since catastrophic ice storm 10 years ago. More than 440,000 customers lost power in New Hampshire. On December 11 and 12, 2008, heavier than expected downpours of freezing rain plummeted southern and central New Hampshire, leaving the landscape frozen solid. There was ice everywhere. The power went out. The power lines were touching the ground because the ice was so heavy, Angela Carson of East Derry said. About 2 to 1/2 inches of rain fell in spots, resulting in a half-inch to a full inch of ice accumulation. Severe tree damage typically occurs with a half-inch of ice. So, with areas seeing an inch of ice, the damage was catastrophic. We knew there'd be some ice. We had no idea the magnitude of what that ice was going to cause, Perry Plummer, the New Hampshire Homeland Security Director, said. Countless trees and limbs were down in the ice storm, which caused $30 million in damage. About 780 power poles and 1,300 transformers were knocked out of service, leaving more than 440,000 electric customers, more than half the state, without power. Some residents moved to shelters as days turned into weeks in many places. I remember the power outage, trying to run around, find gases for all the generators, trying to run everything in the house, plus our 3 pieces of property that about each other. Yeah, it was quite the experience, Greg Bacon of East Derry said. Companies like PSNH, which is now known as Eversource, were met with unforeseen challenges, including getting to assessing and fixing so many varied problems and locations. We worked round the clock 19 to 20 hours days from when it began right through Christmas Day, Dawn North, Eversource System Operations Manager, said. Officials said a lot has changed in 10 years. Eversource has added automated to remotely control the electric system in many more communities, and instead of 15 area control and dispatch centers, there are now 1 centralized location that's always open. We have folks that's their job, to watch the system and react to it now that we have the automation where we can just be very proactive in taking action on the system when things start to happen, North said. The company has added a fleet of first responder trucks called troubleshooters. Now installs stout poles and has a more aggressive tree trimming program. Overall, communication between utilities, emergency management, state officials, and all partners, including the public, are improved. A big complaint in 2008 was the ability to get the information they needed to know when their power could go back on. So 10 years later, a major difference is social media. Multiple platforms, texts, emails, and tweets now inform and updates. One, so they can anticipate what's coming and really be aware of what's coming and how to prepare for that. Two, what to do during that difficult period of time. How do we get that message out? How do we keep them as safe as possible? And then how do we help them recover? Plummer said. Plummer said local emergency operation leaders train together once a month in Concord, and they've installed generators in most community centers and shelters. If the state were to be hit by a powerful, crippling ice storm again, state officials are confident the situation would be better than it was in 2008. First of all, though all the efforts, I think less people would be without power. Second of all, we'd be able to respond to those outages and the needs of the communities much quicker, Plummer said. He said everyone needs to embrace a culture of preparedness. We need the public to be safe, prepared for at least 72 hours. That means food, water. If you can afford a generator, get a generator, Plummer said. And now let's take a look at this video. Okay, and there you go on that video. And we want to hear from you. Let us know, do you remember the ice storm from 2008? Comment below and let us know if you remember. And tell us about your memories about the ice storm. We want to hear from you. And that does it for my special edition in my special report of the ice storm 10 years ago. I hope you all enjoyed watching and have a wonderful night, everyone. Goodbye.